We once discussed acclaimed cinematographer turned temporary director Jack Cardiff when we made a video on 1962's The Lion. Cardiff had won an Oscar for the cinematography on 1947's Black Narcissus, and so Hollywood was eager to utilise his talents for their own epics. During the 1950s, Cardiff worked on large-scale productions such as The African Queen, The Barefoot Contessa, King Vidor's War and Peace, The Prince and the Showgirl, Legend of the Lost, and The Vikings. Cardiff apparently chose to try his hand at film direction, making his debut with 1958 British noir Intent to Kill. Intent to Kill was adapted from a novel authored by Brian Moore under the pseudonym Michael Bryan. Moore was a celebrated novelist later in his career, although prior to the publication and subsequent success of Judith Hearn in 1955, he penned pulp crime novels. Actually, the Intent to Kill source novel of the same name has received some contemporary praise as the finest of Moore's pulp era. Adapting the novel into a screenplay was one Jimmy Sangster. Sangster was a prolific writer turned temporary director for Hammer Studios, and we discussed another of his writings with 1969's The Spy Killer, a previous FOTD. The big curiosity of the creatives behind this film is, of course, whom Jack Cardiff hires as his cinematographer. Employed as the director of photography is Desmond Dickinson, who was best known for shooting Laurence Olivier's Hamlet from 1948. The notion of a lauded cinematographer going into film direction is an exciting prospect for indulgent film geeks now, but in the 1950s you weren't going to be given carte blanche to just muck around with film camera technology, as one might expect now from the more relatively recent directorial works of Christopher Doyle, for example, Australia's finest cinematic exponent. Even in the 1970s, Nick Roeg was given quite a lot of permissions, seemingly. Then with Mick Jagger or David Bowie's money, what isn't possible? Then again, even in the 2010s, Wally Pfister made the world a worse place by directing Transcendence. So there's that. Ugh. So what do we have with 1958's Intent to Kill? I'd call this British noir a firm cut above the pack. It is visually engaging, slick and communicative. For what it is worth, I find it well plotted. I'm hardly the audience for these more plot development thrillers. I'm more one for the Hitchcock Chabrol, De Palma technical gluttony. Still, that being said, I found Intent to Kill wholly worth my time and rather impressive for whatever it is worth. I would happily, comfortably recommend this film. Does the great Cardiff conjure an effective, admirable film from this considered thriller novel, or am I reading too much into this as a kind of confirmation bias? Am I being too kind to this film? Well, if I'm too kind to this film, everyone else seems even more kind to the likes of Gilda, Criss Cross, Laura, or The Lost Weekend. I don't know. This is not as good as Where the Sidewalk Ends, or even I Wake Up Screaming, but in my opinion superior to Cornered, if we're referring to previous FOTD noir entries. So I guess that's my endorsement, of sorts.